This is an image of a girl discovered in the middle of the ocean on a dinghy that's falling apart. Rescuers are completely baffled as to how she even got there. My name's Emma, this is Tiki Bar True Crime. I'm going to tell you the incredible story of the sea orphan. Now, this little girl was called Terry Jo. She was 11 years old and she was found severely dehydrated, sunburned, on a raft that was basically falling apart in the middle of the ocean. How did she get there? Now let's rewind to November 1961, where Terry Jo, along with her parents Arthur and Jean, two of her siblings, go on this lifetime adventure. They go aboard the Bluebell, and the skipper of the Bluebell is a man called Julian Harvey and his wife Mary. They have 5 days of just absolute fun. It's brilliant. And then on the 5th day, Terry Jo is asleep in the cabin underneath, and she is awoken by screams. She goes up to the deck to see her mother, father and brother just lying on the floor covered in blood. Only Julian seems to be alive, and he instructs her very firmly to go back down into the cabin. She goes back down and then quickly realizes that the boat is sinking, so she goes back up. She sees Julian trying to release the life raft for himself, and she goes to help. She has no idea what's going on. As she tries to, the rope slips from her hand and the raft goes away into the sea. Julian dives in after it, and that's the last she sees of him. She remembers that there is a much smaller raft in the main cabin, so she goes to get that, puts it in the water, gets on, and just watches as the Bluebell sinks with all of her family on there. Now, she's aboard this life raft for 4 days, and she has no food, no water, and she just has this kind of white t-shirt on, because remember, she was woken from sleeping. What the hell had happened on that Bluebell? She was determined to survive. She often got inspiration from the pods of animals that would swim alongside her from time to time. Now, on the 4th day, she finally saw a ship. The captain of this ship, Captain Theo, spotted something very unusual in the water. Now, he knew it was too big to be just kind of driftwood, and so he went over to inspect and found Terry Jo. She was rescued, and immediately she received medical care in a hospital. She was far too dehydrated and starved to tell any stories or tell anyone what had happened. Meanwhile, Julian Harvey, the skipper of the boat, had actually been rescued 1 day after the Bluebell sank, 3 days prior to Terry Jo being found. He was going around telling everyone that he was the sole survivor and that the Bluebell had suffered incredible damage after a storm. The mast had fallen, injuring all of the family that were on board. There then was a gas leak which set the entire ship on fire. After hearing that Terry Jo had survived, he then died by suicide. Now, this is very suspicious, so the police start looking into Julian Harvey. They found that he was in severe financial trouble, and just before leaving, he took out a double indemnity insurance on his wife, Mary. Now, they think that what happened is Julian planned to murder his wife, Mary, whilst on board the Bluebell in the middle of the ocean. He would then say that it was an accident, she fell overboard, and collect the indemnity insurance. He also had a family on board who would provide witness to say that, yes, Mary was on board, and then she disappeared. She must have fallen into the sea. But what they think happened was they think that Arthur, the father of Terry Jo, caught Julian in the act of murdering Mary. He panicked and decided that everyone just had to go. Why he didn't kill Terry Jo, though, is still unknown. People have said that perhaps he thought she would just drown anyway because the boat was sinking, and he told her to go back into the cabin down below. Terry Jo said that she believes she survived for a reason, even if it was just to get justice for everyone on board to tell the true story. She hopes that her story inspires others. Terry Jo grew up. She actually changed her name to Tear. She got married and had 3 children and never really spoke of the incident again. This was the story of the sea orphan. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, subscribe and comment if you like my content, and I'll see you in the next one.